Imagine being at your absolute lowest, consumed by grief and pain, only to have your closest friends repeatedly tell you, "You brought this on yourself." We've all been there. Someone we care about is in deep pain, and we feel a desperate urge to say something, anything. But in moments of profound suffering, words can either heal or harm. The wrong ones, even with good intentions, can cut deeper than silence. This isn't a modern problem. Thousands of years ago, a man named Job experienced unimaginable loss, and his friends, meaning well, made everything worse. Their story gives us ancient, timeless wisdom on what never to say when someone is suffering. Job lost everything: his children, his wealth, and his health. He sat in ashes, scraping his wounds. Into this scene came three friends: Eliphaz, Bildad, and Zophar, wise, respected men who came to comfort him. And at first, they did something beautiful. When Job's friends first saw him, they were shocked. They wept, tore their clothes, and sat beside him for 7 days and nights, without speaking, just being there, grieving with him in silence. This was their finest hour. They didn't offer cliches or explanations. They simply sat in the ashes with their friend. That silent presence, without judgment or correction, was the most loving thing they could have done. But unfortunately, it didn't last. When Job finally broke the silence, pouring out his grief, his friends responded, not with comfort, but with correction. They assumed his suffering must be a punishment from God. Eliphaz asked, "Who, being innocent, has ever perished?" implying, "You must have done something wrong." Bildad went further, suggesting Job's children died because of their sin. Zophar accused Job directly and claimed his suffering was less than he deserved. Their logic was simple and cruel. Good things happen to good people, bad things happen to bad people. So if you're suffering, you must be bad. Instead of comforting Job, they added shame and guilt to his grief. Even today, we hear echoes of this. Maybe it's karma. You must have done something. God is trying to teach you a lesson. These phrases hurt more than they help. They reduce deep suffering to a simplistic cause and effect formula, and that's not always how life works. Job's friends didn't stop at blame. They went on long-winded theological rants, trying to explain God's ways as if they understood the mysteries of pain. Their words were full of religious truth but empty of compassion, and instead of offering comfort, they offered answers to the questions that no one asked. This same mistake shows up today in statements like, "Everything happens for a reason. God won't give you more than you can handle. It's part of God's plan. You just need more faith." These phrases, though meant to comfort, often feel dismissive. They oversimplify pain and make the sufferer feel alone, misunderstood, or even responsible for their own suffering. Job eventually exploded in frustration, saying, "You are miserable comforters, all of you." In the end, God himself appears and rebukes Job's friends. God affirmed Job's honesty and pain and dismissed the hollow theology of his friends. The message is clear. When someone is suffering, don't assume, don't blame, don't try to fix it, just be there. Let them be human in their pain, and let your presence remind them they are not alone. Job's story leaves us with haunting questions like, why do the righteous suffer? Where is God in our pain? Centuries later, Jesus stepped into a world still asking those same questions. And his response wasn't just words, it was himself. Jesus didn't stand apart from suffering. He entered into it. He wept at Lazarus' tomb. He was moved with compassion for the sick, the grieving, and the outcasts. He didn't offer cliches. Rather, he said, "Blessed are those who mourn." He didn't minimize pain, he honored it. And then he went even further. He suffered with us and for us. On the cross, Jesus endured betrayal, agony, and even cried out, my God, why have you forsaken me?" Echoing the cry of Job and of us all. The cross shows us that suffering isn't always punishment, and it's not always explainable, but it's never ignored by God. In Jesus, we see a God who meets us in our pain with love, not condemnation. So, when we sit with someone in suffering, we're called to reflect Jesus, present, compassionate, and full of grace. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this helpful, give it a like. It really helps more people discover videos like this that share God's Word. And if you'd like to see more, be sure to subscribe and explore our channel.